Okay, just a quick live stream here. Today it's the 15th of May, 2023, and I need to cover just a few things. Hello, everyone, as you come in. I won't be here long. Number one, again, people want to know about the coming up schedule for the discussion, the live stream call in of my book discussion. It will be tomorrow, Tuesday, the 16th, and the tentative time, I'm looking at 7 p.m. Um, Mountain Time, which of course is 6 p.m. Pacific. And um, well, let's see, no, that's not right. Yeah, that's right. 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And I know that's a little late for the people on the East Coast, but I figure that that's the best time as far as internet connections and people kind of settled down and that kind of thing. So again, we'll do that live stream call in to discuss whatever you all want to discuss about my book, and I'll give the parameters at the time that we start that tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So you can adjust your time schedule according to that. Now, I wanted to mention two other things before I go, and that's BP Earthwatch got a hold of me yesterday and said that the gamma radiation is spiking in Ukraine. And of course, it's most likely due to that Russian attack on the ammunition depot in western Ukraine. Um, Russia warned the United Kingdom and everybody else not to send depleted uranium ammunition to Ukraine. Now, I'm not sure that that's what's going on here. There would be people in the nuclear warfare parts of militaries that have argued that depleted uranium doesn't cause these types of spikes in radiation. Um, However, we've seen evidence that that is the case in places like Iraq and in other areas. So I'm not sure what's exactly going on there, but if you all saw the explosion that happened in western Ukraine, not far from Lviv, I can't even pronounce the name of the place where this occurred. It actually looks like a tactical nuke going off, is what it looks like. Apparently, it was not. It was the amount of ammunition that was being stored at that place, and that all went up practically at once. But the important thing is that whatever was there, it looks like that the UK depleted uranium rounds were probably there, and maybe some other things. And when that ammunition depot went up, God help anybody that was close to it, they're gone, vaporized. But what it's essentially done is released a dirty bomb for that part of Ukraine and West. And I've checked the wind directions for that area, and man, Russia couldn't have done it at a better time. Again, they warned Ukraine and the United Kingdom and others not to send these types of rounds to Ukraine because they don't want Western or Eastern Ukraine to be contaminated with this stuff. But the UK didn't listen, and neither did anybody else. And whoever's been sending these things, Russia hit it, and now that part of Ukraine is now going to be contaminated for a long time. This is essentially a huge dirty bomb that has gone off. I don't blame Russia for this. They warned these people not to do that, and they weren't going to let this stuff come to the eastern side of Ukraine and Belarus and places like that. They just weren't going to do it. So now the Western Ukrainians and the prevailing winds right now, when this whole thing happened, were basically north and west. So kind of actually almost a funnel kind of thing. If you, I don't know if you can see Ukraine here, you probably can't right here, but all of the wind was kind of going like this. So it's it's going to blow over towards Western Europe to the very people that the I can't believe the irresponsibility of the Western democracy, so-called democracies. Um, and again, I don't want to get. I'm already a little more than depressed about the whole thing, so I really don't want to spend much time on it. But this looks really bad. Um, and Putin and the Russians have warned not to do these things, and they have other weapon systems that they can use as things. They're pressing it. They're spiraling out of control. I hear Alex Christoforou of the Duran talking about how there are apparently these two factions in the West, and I'm going to primarily talk about Washington, D.C. One that wants to just get out of this thing in Ukraine because it's a mess, and the other that wants to press it. And I don't know who's going to win this fight, but they're definitely trying to turn the entire Ukraine situation off, or at least reduce it to somehow so that they can start going after China, which is again silly at this point. It seems like we all ought to be working on business deals, not how to kill each other. But I'll leave that at that. The other thing I wanted to bring up is the shootings that happened in Serbia. If you are aware of those, they were like mass shootings in public. And I haven't looked at all of the explanations by all the so-called experts, but I wanted. What was that? What was that? Take a swig, Roy. You know what you want. I'm going to remind people about this. You've probably forgotten about it. I've mentioned it a couple of times over the last, several years and even recently. Back in the 70s and 80s, when NATO was trying to basically get a war started with Russia and to prevent uh, some of those Eastern or those European countries from having any kind of sympathies for Russia, NATO, you won't get this off of Wikipedia. It's all whitewashed there. It's all, or any place else for that matter. NATO began a false flag campaign with an organization called the Red Brigade. And it was primarily out of Italy because there were some things happening with Italy there that they wanted to point the fingers at Russia, and they wanted to stop some of the the population from going to a more friendly stance with Russia, sort of like what we saw here in the last little while. So I'm not saying this is the Red Brigade per se, but it's this. I believe it's the same type of operation that's going on in Serbia. If you recall, Serbia has had close ties with Russia, and Serbia has basically stood against Kosovo becoming an independent state. Now, the United States and NATO have been saying, "Oh yeah, Kosovo, they have the right to secede from Serbia and become a separate state, and then of course fall under NATO, right, and the EU." And yet, in Ukraine, with the eastern area of Ukraine there, the Donbass, etc., those independent areas there that wanted to break off and go to Russia, NATO and the United States says, "Oh no, 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 this is Russian aggression, this is wrong," and yet the people voted for it. You see the hypocrisy here. But at any rate, so what's happened, I think, on this situation with these mass shootings in Serbia, I think it's probably something akin to the Red Brigade being resurrected, because the president of Serbia was showing some sympathy, some connection to Russia, and also does not want Kosovo to become separate from Serbia. So I think we're seeing some terrorist activity, and I don't know all the details. I'm just talking about this from a perspective of 60,000 feet, kind of remembering history and what's going on here and how similar this was to the Italian situation in the 70s and 80s. It just looks like to me that these might be, again, government sponsored, particularly EU, NATO, even US sponsored terrorism, is the way it looks to me, and trying to get the Serbian people to bend their way. But we'll see. I just wanted to bring all that up. Just keep that in mind. It's certainly a big possibility with the way things are going now. Things in the United States aren't looking good. The bank situation's getting worse. They want to move to this, these other types of currencies, if you know what I'm talking about. They want to, of course, they're pushing real hard to take away, to repeal the Second Amendment. There are states that are countering that. There are courts that are countering it. We had a federal judge, I can't remember where it was. It may have been in Texas, who basically ruled that you can't, they cannot make it unlawful for 18-year-olds to buy handguns. Well, now that's a federal law actually that the states are implementing, and I think that is unjust. Of course, I've talked about it before, but I don't know where this federal judge came from, but that's an amazing decision that he made. How that's going to end up in the long run, I don't know. But so there are these factions going on here too, and we're going to see more public shootings, more fog of war to make it look like it's the people that want to stand up for the Constitution and I know legal man's going to get upset for me saying that, but I'm just talking about the rights of the individuals to free speech, freedom of being able to defend yourselves and your loved ones, even your property, all of those things that we find important that are being destroyed by the powers that be now, or their attempts to destroy them. Serious problems, and there's going to be more to bring that about. And Biden, he's the mouthpiece, and I do believe he goes along with all this personally. He might be run by Obama. Obama said some things lately about, for instance, gun ownership is an ideological and bipartisan issue. Let's see now. How does that get along with the oaths that those people took to support and defend, and all that stuff? Well, that doesn't matter to them. They're about destroying things for themselves and for their cronies. Short video here. I don't want to keep it going. We'll talk. Your lips look parched. Yeah, probably. I've been outside quite a bit, and the wind's been blowing, and we've had quite a bit of stormy weather. Okay. That's all I got for you today. I just wanted to bring those two things up. I think there's something going on in both those areas there. Astrotheology, I'm not going to go there, John, big bad John. That's not what we're here for. Not this time, okay? So I am concerned about the situation with the nuclear activity, the dropping of these contaminated particles and etc. all throughout Western Ukraine and into other countries as well. They'll probably get it, certainly probably in Romania. They'll get some of that. They'll get it in probably Germany, maybe even Poland. I mean, this was crazy for them to send the weapons of their own destruction into Ukraine to store them there after all the warnings that Russia gave to them not to do that, because Russia doesn't want another Chernobyl problem in their country nor in the eastern Ukrainian area of Donbass. It's certainly, what's a dirty bomb? Basically what it is, it's a conventional type bomb. Terrorists, we've worked with this several times in the past, but it's basically taking a standard type of weapon, non-nuclear, and basically putting contaminated particles inside of it and then detonating it, and then that spreads the contaminated particles over a particular area, and that's really basically what it is. So you can look it up and just Google it. You can find out from there, and that's essentially what this turned into. I'm not certain that the Russians intended that. I'm sure that they knew that would be the result, however, but they really had no other choice under the circumstances. So the West is totally irresponsible, and it's getting worse by the day. And as I've always said, and I'm going to end it with this, remember, it's not about what's happening out here. It's about they're coming for you. They're coming for you. They're coming for anybody that won't bow down to their new, true social construct agenda. And it's a very evil one, as I've talked about. Again, I'm going to go. I've got some other things to do. Tomorrow night, Tuesday, we're going to do it about 7 p.m. Mountain Time. We're going to have a call-in show so that you can ask me questions about my autobiography. Okay? All right, that's all I got for you. I really don't have time to answer a whole lot of things on chat right now. Yeah, I don't think Obama ever left power either. He's had he was CIA, so he's had the support even after the election when he was booted out, or when he was done. He's had the intelligence community and the powers that be, Soros, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all the way down the line. He's had all of their support. All right, I got to go. You all take care. We'll talk to you. If I don't have another short upload to do for any particular reason, and I don't anticipate that, we'll see you tomorrow night, Tuesday, for a live call-in show, and we'll do some chat too on the chat for my autobiography. Hopefully, you've been able to get it. Those of you who wanted it, I think I don't have the address right now. It's probably too late for you to get it now anyway before the show tomorrow, unless you lived in Utah or pretty close by. But you can go to video several back where it tells you where to go to get it. You can call them. Let me see if it's in here. I don't know if they have their phone number in here. Let me see if they do. Oh, they do. So I'll tell you what, I'll give it to you now. Okay, so it's Old Pioneer Press, 97 West Main Street, Santaquin, Utah, 84655. And the phone number is probably the easiest way to get it. Call them and just put in an order. 801-609-2222. I'll put this up here so you can see it. And so there it is right there. All right. It's not focused very well, but I think you can get the idea. All righty. Well, that's all for today. I'll see you tomorrow night. Unless something happens, I think I got to come up real quick and say a few things, okay? All right. I'll try to get that address and phone number in the description box just so you got it. We'll see if it'll upload. Okay. Let's see. One guy claims flat earth, but a professional... Oh, I see. Nah, we're not going to talk about that today. Okay, we got other things to do. All right, out of here for now.